Hello. It's nice to be here with Shelley Taylor. And today, Shelley and I are going to be talking about having family meetings in your family business. And sometimes these are called family council meetings. And for your information as our viewers, Shelley is in a very unique perspective in that she both consults, serves families in business and helps them with this area of their work, but she also grew up in a family business and came to experience this from that side of the work as well.
Thank you, Jonathan. Hi, nice to be here with you talking about family meetings, which are a really important gathering place for families in business together. I do work with family businesses as an advisor and also didn't grow up in a family business, but married into a family business, and have been involved as a spouse, which is also sometimes unique. I've been involved in a family meetings process for over 35 years in this family that I married into. And so through generational transitions, I also have served as family council chair, just recently passing that on to someone in the next generation. So it's nice to be able to come both the advisor side and the family side inform each other in my personal experience, which is great.
Thank you, Shelley.
Yep.
And for that clarification that you married into this and then your experiences.
Yep.
So, what we're doing here really is we're suggesting that our viewers adopt something, take it into their way of doing their business. So why would anyone put that effort out there? What are the benefits of this?
Great question. There are a lot of benefits. One is you get everyone in the same place at the same time having the conversation together.
Yeah.
So instead of relying on information that you hear from someone else, you're able to be a part of the conversation. Family meetings also offer a structured place for dialogue, a place where people, I would say, know the rules, even though we might not call them rules, but it's an organized environment. You're there for a purpose, so you can lend some structure to the conversations. Another thing is that it gives you the opportunity to make decisions together as a family. Like I said, everyone together in one place. And you can create a shared vision together if that's something that is of interest or importance to the family. And a shared vision can mean a lot of things. It can be different for every family. You can talk about how we're going to continue this family business for generations. You can refer to the legacy, maybe that was brought forth that you've been carrying on from prior generations. The shared vision can also talk about how you operate within the community or how you as family members relate to the business. So this isn't the shared vision of the business. This is the shared vision of the family. And another great benefit is the connections that people are able to form. You might have cousins who otherwise wouldn't spend time together. This would be in maybe a third to fourth generation family business or even second generation family business. But it provides a chance to know each other, create bonds, and really develop relationships that you might not otherwise have if you didn't have the bond of the family business and the environment of the family meetings to get together.
Yeah. So you're creating space. People are getting together in that space. It's intentional. And it seems like perhaps an additional benefit might be that if you hadn't created that and hadn't had the guest list of who's at the table, there might be valuable information that wouldn't make it into your process.
Right. That's great. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. Thanks, Jonathan.
Let's go into the very practical of this.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gathered, you've got the people there, you've made the time for it. What do you exactly do?
Yeah. What do you do? Well, a lot of education, right? So coming together, you want to make decisions together. You want to have dialogue about how we are as a family together, but that requires education. We need to know a lot of things first. So some of the things might be, what does it mean to be an owner? How is that different from being in the operating business or just being a family member? So what are the rights and responsibilities of owners? What is a board of directors? What does a board of directors do? How do I look at financial statements? And then learning about the business itself. There might be family members who are not involved in the day-to-day operations of the business, whether they're spouses or whether they're family members who are just working elsewhere, or even younger people who are teenagers or young adults who are still figuring out what their path is. So lots of education around things like that. You can bring in guest speakers. They can be leadership from the business. You can have board members if you happen to have advisors or independent directors on your board, and they can lend a different perspective and provide information to the family that they might not think they're getting from family members who are working in the business. These are some other perspectives that then lend credibility and accountability to what the family members in the business are doing. And then you can create policies, and you can discuss how we want to view the business. What does employment mean for a family member? So it can be a range of things in that topic area, from what are the requirements to come into work in the business? What does it look like when you show up? You know, as a family member, the understanding that you have the family's name and people are expecting more from you. So some of that, behaviors, expectations, and maybe training programs, orientation programs. How do you enter the family business? Are there programs to acquaint you with the different various roles within the family business? And so in addition to that, things like terminology, things that we might take for granted. So somebody who's in the business understands what ROIC is or EBITDA. You know, what do those mean to people who might not have had that exposure? And career development also, some families, if they're larger and have family members who are not going to be entering the business, they like to provide opportunities to develop that younger generation, whatever career path they might take. So some of those activities might happen within the confines of a family meeting or a family council. And then something that's super important, no matter what your structure is or your family business is to have fun together, like to create time for activities that are just enjoyable, right? So you might get together for a half a day or a weekend, but let's work some time in for, bowling is a silly example. Family Olympics. There have been so many talent shows. I've seen so many iterations of that. But having fun is super important.
So, Shelley, we've got an education process here, and you've now talked about a bunch of activities that could happen. And it seems like every family is going to do this somewhat in their own way. So you don't have to feel like I have to do it exactly like if there's some manual that I'm following, and you'll build into it. Is that right?
It is, right. Just as every family is unique and every business has its own way of doing things and product that it's offering or service that it's offering, families are unique and the way they approach this process. And I do want to add that I talked about policies and they might be considered outputs, but the process of arriving at those is really more important than what you end up with maybe on a piece of paper or in a binder. It's those conversations that happen and the give and take and the coming to a shared understanding. That's a really super important part about all of that.
I say that's the deliciousness.
Absolutely.
It's delicious.
Absolutely.
All right. So I bought the idea.
Yep.
You've convinced me. How do we get from a family business that really doesn't have structured family meeting place or a council? How do we get from not having to having?
Great question. And I've seen it from so many different ways. Usually it starts with one person who has the idea.
Yeah.
And then that person might bring it to who could be perceived as the decision maker in the family. Sometimes it's a matriarch or patriarch. Sometimes it's a family member who's leading the business, and then getting other people on board. So you want more than one or two people, though. You want to then float it to the family.
Yeah.
And then once you decide you want to have the process, I've seen families successful who do it on their own and families who are successful who bring in a third-party facilitator. So both approaches, I would say, are equally valid.
So on your own, that might include, going out to the web or finding resources and then.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Shelley Taylor, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us.
And Jonathan Magidovich, thank you. And
pleasure.
Happy to be with all of you today.